So this is normally the type of video that I struggle to make. Not because I don't really have anything to say, but because what I do have to say doesn't stray too far away from the narrative that you're hearing from everybody else when talking about Washington versus Vegas in the Stanley Cup Final. That narrative is, holy hell, I cannot believe this is actually the Stanley Cup Final. It is the perennial playoff choker, no offense Caps fans, and an expansion team in the Stanley Cup Final. You're not going to hear anything different from me. This is insane. But that said, I was asked on Twitter, I was asked on stream in the immediate aftermath of Washington beating Tampa in Game 7, who do I have in the final? So, because of that, that question's worded well enough that I can at least say more than just what, and as opposed to the question of, oh, well, what are your thoughts on the final? My thought is, holy goddamn hell. As opposed, to that, who do I have in the final? Well, that is a little bit of a different, it's a little bit of a different take, because unlike in previous years, I don't have that one team that I'm rooting for. I'm not going to be upset regardless of who wins here. I've talked about it on Twitter, I've talked about it on stream a lot. I really do want to see Alex Ovechkin win a Stanley Cup. I do not want to see him join Marcel Dionne and numerous others on top of that. Ovechkin would probably top that list. I don't want to see him or really any other of the superstars that I've grown up playing, the Patrick Marleaus, the Joe Thorntons. I don't want to see these great players, these Hall of Famers that I've grown up watching. I don't want to see any of them retire without a cup. And I think I feel that way because one of my first, big hockey moments, of course, Ray Bourque winning in Colorado, which is, of course, the perfect fairy tale ending. The reality is not everybody gets a fairy tale ending like that. So you have to wonder, with an Alex Ovechkin, you might say, well, okay, he got here. Maybe this isn't his year, but maybe there's a time in the future. There might not be another time. This might be it for the Caps. And the reason why you can say that is because they weren't supposed to be here this year. We all know that. Again, perennial playoff chokers. I don't need to go over it. And you look at this playoff run, down 2-0 to Columbus. Everyone thought they were done. I thought they were done. I put out a tweet. I don't know if I'll be able to find it for this video, but I put out a tweet basically saying, for the love of God, trade Ovechkin, stop wasting him. I don't want to see him on that list next to Marcel Dionne. They find a way to beat Columbus. They come up against Pittsburgh. Okay, they're done. No, they finally slay that dragon. And then they come up against Tampa. The same Tampa team who had done everything right up to that point. They take care of New Jersey in round 1, as they should have, especially after their trade deadline. They take on Boston. Toronto fans, I'm not saying this to take another shot at you, but let's be honest here. And I talked about this in my reaction video to the Boston-Toronto series. Boston and Toronto were simply playing for the right to have bragging rights over one another. Say what you want, maybe Toronto would have fared better against Tampa. Probably not. Probably not. Bruins-Leafs was a slugfest, and the winner was pretty much destined to get beat by Tampa. And that is exactly what happened with the Bruins. Now, blame injuries and wear and tear, on the Bruins' part for why Tampa dispatched them in 5 games, which, everybody's worn down, everybody's injured. Blame Bruce Cassidy being out-coached if you want to. Blame the officiating if you want to, although, again, to that point, I've also said in the past, the NHL officiating in this entire offseason, this entire season in general, has been horrible for everybody. So that's not an excuse. At the end of the day, Tampa did what they were supposed to, and they took out the tired winner of the Boston and Toronto series, and that brings us to the Washington series. They lose the first 2. They bounce back. They win 3 straight. Okay, over and done with. And from there, what happened? Did Tampa fall off? Was John Cooper simply outcoached from that point? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The Tampa Bay Lightning are out. The Cup favorites are out. The Washington Capitals, rightfully so, are going to the Stanley Cup Final. People will try to take it away from them. At the end of the day, a win is a win, and they are finally back for the first time since '98. And I don't know how to feel about it. And I can't necessarily pick Washington in this series. Normally I would. Like I mentioned, I don't have a team that I'm really rooting for here, because on one side you have Alex Ovechkin, and on the other side you have this Disney story of a team, an expansion team. Say what you want, and of course the narrative has changed. Oh, of course Vegas was going to be good, people are saying now. Look at how much other teams like the Panthers helped them out. It's clearly rigged. It couldn't possibly be due to the Panthers' ineptitude at management level. Clearly it was. I'm so torn. I'm so torn. And I can't help but say that I'm going to root for whatever team has a chance to win the cup on home ice. Because again, it's like you look back in previous years, Pittsburgh versus Nashville, I was going for Nashville because Pittsburgh won the year before. Pittsburgh against San Jose, I'm going for the Sharks. Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau, and Pittsburgh had already had their cups. Although Pittsburgh wins, hooray Phil Kessel, he's a Stanley Cup champion. So that was great. You know, you look at the 2 years, the Bruins were in the final. You look at LA and New York, a great moment with Alex Martinez scoring the overtime game winner to win the cup on home ice, but Henrik frickin' Lundqvist, man, another one of those players. Much like an Ovechkin, granted, of course, Ovechkin's younger, but it's like, okay, is Hank ever going to get back there? Maybe, maybe not. He's running out of time. I'm so torn, and I can't help but say, just goddamn you, Washington, for making this difficult. Had you not just choked it away for all of these years, it could have been Tampa versus Vegas, and I'd be 100% pulling for Vegas. But instead, now, because you couldn't get it done, I have to try and choose between Ovechkin and the Cinderella story, which I still don't think many people, I mean, we realize how crazy it is, but I don't think it's going to set in for a while. That odds are we're never going to see anything like this in our lifetime again. Say what you want, maybe Seattle pulls this off within a few years. We're probably never going to see anything like this again. An expansion team making it to the championship, let alone potentially winning it. And I think about that a lot in terms of trying to appreciate the players, the teams, the moments of, you know, in sports that I have gotten to see, because some of these are moments that, you know, you think back, you know, listening to your parents and your grandparents hearing about, oh, you know, this great moment from, I mean, fuck it, if you're a Jets fan, you know, winning, what was it, Super Bowl III, the Bobby Orr deal, obviously. You know, a moment like this, Vegas potentially getting this done would be right at the top of the list. I mean, perhaps even more unlikely. I mean, if you're, you know, if you're a soccer fan, if you're a football fan, you know, Leicester City winning the Premier League, this is bigger than that, which seems impossible. And even then, Leicester City winning, it's like, when the hell is that ever going to happen again? Probably not in my lifetime. I don't think a Grimsby town is going to be winning the Premier League in my lifetime. So I try to appreciate these moments, which makes me want to root for Vegas, and I am. But then Ovechkin, and that adorable smile of Alex Ovechkin, what else can you call it? Especially once he realized, oh my God, my team's finally going to win. If you look at his celebrations from Game 7, heartwarming. God damn it, I want him to win so bad. But Vegas. And you can sit there and you can break down the teams. Who has the goaltending advantage? I mean, Holtby's finally playing like the Braden Holtby everybody knew he could be, but he's only done that in the past 2 games. He's had arguably the worst season of his career. Actually, statistically, it might very well be. Going up against Marc-Andre Fleury, who's been playing like a goddamn man possessed. Defense, I mean, so is there a goaltending advantage? Maybe not in terms of momentum right now. It's tough to say. Defensively, I'd probably give it to Washington, maybe just solely for Niskanen and Karlsson. But that said, and offensively, it's the same thing. You look, it's like, okay, Ovechkin, Backstrom, Kuznetsov. But that's just part of what's happened all year long, where you doubt Vegas, and they prove you wrong every step of the way. So I don't know. In terms of who I'm rooting for, at the end of the day, it comes down to whatever team can win on home ice. I can tell you as a Bruins fan, that is the one thing that was missing from the 2011 win over the Canucks, is that lack of celebration from the entire arena. It's like you look at Chicago winning the cup on home ice, incredible. LA winning the cup on home ice. Winning the cup, having your team win the cup is amazing. But if your team can win it on home ice, it's that much bigger of a moment, which I can confirm being a Red Sox fan as well. The 04 and 07 World Series, great. I still rank the 2013 World Series up there because they actually won it at Fenway. It's just, it adds that little bit extra. So if Vegas is up 3-0 heading into Game 4, which I believe would be played in Washington, I'm rooting for Washington on that night, but then Game 5 comes around, and I'm rooting for Vegas to win it at home. I honestly cannot choose between these two teams. At the end of the day, what I do get to do is I get to sit back, and I get to enjoy the Stanley Cup Final, knowing that I'm not going to be annoyed in any way whatsoever. Well, I guess maybe I will. This sucks. This is so great. It's such a great Stanley Cup Final, but it sucks. Because if Ovi wins, all I'm going to be able to think is awesome, but Vegas, the story was so close. And then vice versa. Vegas wins. Oh my God, this is the craziest thing that's probably ever going to happen in sports in my lifetime. But Alex Ovechkin, is he ever going to get back? And what if he doesn't? And then, hey, see you later. And then he's looking down at Marcel Dion on the list of greatest players of all time to never win. I'm excited, though. At the end of the day, I am so excited to see what happens. It sucks that we have to wait until Monday for the start of this series. But I guess just in conclusion, because I can rant and ramble about this all goddamn long, all goddamn day long, all night long. To the Caps fans, congrats. You guys deserve it. I am happy for you. I can't say I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for Ovi. But God damn it, I wish you won the cup in one of the last 5 years. It is kind of weird, though, how finally the pressure was off. You weren't considered cup favorites. And now is finally the time, with arguably the weakest roster you've had in the past few years. Now is the time where you get over that hump and you make it to the cup final. It's kind of weird. It is, and it's disappointing because, like I said, if it was Tampa versus Vegas, sorry, Tampa, going all in on Vegas. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to this, though. I'm looking forward to the home atmospheres for each team. The pregame stuff for Vegas should be incredible. I'm just looking forward to some damn good hockey. And again, at the end of this, either Alex Ovechkin is a Stanley Cup champion, or we got to witness the craziest goddamn moment in NHL history, I'd say. An expansion team winning the Stanley Cup Final. It's 4 games away, 4 wins away from happening. So guys, with that said, just wanted to put a video out there talking about it. Who am I picking to win the Stanley Cup? It's going to change on any given night. I'm not going to be upset regardless. If I had to guess, Vegas in 6. Because why not? But then again, maybe that's jinxing them, because all year long I've been one of those people to say, okay, here's what I think, Vegas isn't going to win. Hell, my brackets, I put out the perfect bracket video. My bracket from the start of the year, my bracket at the beginning of the playoffs, it's like, no, sorry, Vegas, it's not going to happen. So who knows? Maybe now that I think Vegas can finally do it, they'll choke. I don't know. But then again, they're going up against Washington, who normally chokes. I don't know. Whoever can win the cup on home ice to provide the best moment, that is what I want. So for now, that will do it for this one. Off topic. Thank you guys for the support, both on Twitter and the YouTube comment section, on Twitch and everything. For those who don't know, again, go watch the most recent Sea Cattle episode. It talks about it. Just going through some family stuff at the moment. I thank you guys so goddamn much for the support. You're too damn kind. I don't deserve it. Thank you. Yeah, I want to know, though, in the comments below, who are you picking in the Stanley Cup Final? Who do you think's going to win? Who do you want to win? And name a Conn Smythe winner. I mean, for Washington, it's Ovechkin. For Vegas, it's probably going to be Marc-Andre Fleury. But any other guesses? Any other outside guesses that you think might get the job done? For now, that'll do it for this one. You know what you can do to support the video and the channel. Leave a like and subscribe if you have not already done so. We're on the road to 10K. I'd like to get there before the 3-year anniversary on September 7th. It's the 7th or the 9th that I put out my first video in 2015. It's been a while. I've been at this for a bit. Not a crazy amount of time compared to some people, but I've been at this for a bit. I am struggling with an outro. I really am. Thank you guys for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time.